Hello everybody, here we are doing my preview picks slash predictions for the week for the CFL week 2. But before we start, please make sure to subscribe if you're new. If not, no big deal. Now let's get started. So the first game is going to be tomorrow night. The Calgary Stampeders travel to Ottawa to take on the Ottawa Redblacks. This one is going to be a big prove-it game for Calgary to prove that they are still, a good team, whereas Ottawa is looking to bounce back from a tough loss. The Stampeders had a decent game. They lose to the Lions 25-15. It wasn't great. But I think specifically Jake Maier is going to have a lot to prove here, as it seems like Kadeem Carey has also been placed on the 6-game injured list. So for him, he's going to have to be able to prove that while Peyton Logan's there at running back, he can have a bounce-back game and be the franchise guy. They, of course, moved on from Bo Levi Mitchell, and Maier is in a spot where he's coming off of a bad game, another bad game against a team that really struggled in week 1 without his best running back. Might be time for Calgary Stampeders fans to panic a little bit. We will see. As for Ottawa, the kicking game is nothing to worry about. Lewis Ward is just automatic, it feels like, and the defense, if they're able to perform like they did against Montreal and really limit points and get after the quarterback, all that good stuff, and just kind of keep rolling how they did in those functions of the game right there, that could be good. As for quarterback play, I mean, Nick Arbuckle is going to have to be better if they end up throwing him out there as a starter. Arbuckle is a guy that has experience. He has played games and been able to say that he's got pretty good experience dating back to 2019. You can't have those bad games, especially against a team like Calgary that has the opportunity and the ability to win this one. I don't exactly know what's going to happen here, as again, the Ottawa defense really could hem in Calgary, which I think could be cause for concern if they're forced to, kind of play underneath. That's not great, especially if the D-line is able to get after Maier. But I'm going to say that I am picking the Stampeders to win this one. Arbuckle is a guy that, even if he has a safe game, I don't expect him to put up a lot of points. Calgary's defense should be able to keep the Redblacks offense in check, and I think that the return game for the Stampeders could be a good way for them to win this one. Then Friday night, we get a battle of the prairies as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers head over to Saskatchewan to play the Rough Riders. This one will be at 9 p.m. Eastern, so it'll be a late one if you're going to be, on the East Coast or in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. But this one should be an interesting one because Winnipeg really was able to put it to Hamilton early on in the first half of their game against the Hamilton Tiger Cats in week 1, and the Rough Riders had to claw out a victory over the Edmonton Elks in front of a pretty big crowd, might I say. This one also will be interesting because whether or not Trevor Harris will play will kind of be the question here. I talked about it in my week 1 recap, as the Rough Riders end up keeping him out there the last play of the game that they could have him out there. And just in the dying seconds of the game, he goes to throw the ball away. What do you know? He ends up getting hit, falls down. It doesn't look that bad, but he said he is pretty sore right now. So you do hope / wonder what exactly is going to be going on here for him and the club. And if he is out, boy, could this one get ugly, as the Blue Bombers looked amazing. Bailey, Dimsky, Wolotarski, Schoen, just all these guys. Brady Oliveira, of course, had over 100 yards, and the defense looked really good. And this one, Janarian Grant, is also a threat. I'm not going to go too far into depth on this one. I do feel like Winnipeg should be able to win this game, especially after the Rough Riders were able to run the ball the way they might have wanted to. We will see, though, as this one is a rivalry game, so Saskatchewan might be able to get up for this rivalry. And if Harris is healthy and some things are a little bit different, they could end up winning this one. Still picking Winnipeg to take this one out of Saskatchewan. And then for our Saturday game, you have Edmonton traveling over to BC to play the Lions. Expected to be over 30,000 fans in attendance, which is absolutely great. Considering where the Lions were just a few years ago, Edmonton knows a thing or two about dwindling crowds, but of course they have tried to rejuvenate what they've got going on there. But now, of course, it's in BC where the Lions get a chance to see if Vernon Adams Jr. can keep throwing the ball the way he was. Dominic Rhymes was amazing there. Taquan Mizell ended up having a pretty good game in the first game. It might be tough to run the ball against Edmonton. I think they really were able to, him and Jamal Morrow for the most part in this past game. We will see there. As for the Edmonton offense, that's going to be a good test against the Lions, and with TJ Lee and guys like them, they were able to really put in work over Maier in the Stamps offense, like I said, in week 1. And Edmonton did not play necessarily super well, in that first game against the Rough Riders. You got to watch out for Geno Lewis because obviously he had a 102-yard touchdown last week, but this one is probably going to come down to how well Vern plays and then how well the Elks really adjust on the offensive side of the ball, because we know that they should be a lot better. But again, you kind of think that this defense for the Lions was pretty good last week. We'll see if they get to hold up to it this week. I think this one should be a better one than some people expect, especially if Vernon Adams Jr. has kind of a tough game. And Cornelius, I don't know, we're going to get to see. Maybe does Ford get to step in if Cornelius struggles? That's all very good questions. For this one, I'm going to say that the Lions win. As a Lions fan, I try not to be very biased and say that I have a Lions bias for this channel, but I do feel like this one's pretty, I expected. I feel like the money's kind of on BC. In fact, on multiple betting websites, the Lions are expected to win this one. And at this point, I just think that they're a more complete team in a better spot to win. We will see, though, because Elks have played Edmonton, or not Edmonton, they played BC tough at times. Last year, of course, they didn't. The last time that they were in BC place, that was, a big thing that comes to mind was when they got pumped by the Lions. Actually, it was the first game of the season in BC. But yeah, we will see. I'm picking BC in this one. And then in the final game on Sunday night, we have the rivalry. The Hamilton Tiger Cats traveled to Toronto at BMO Field to take on the Argonauts, the defending Grey Cup champions, as they get to hoist their banners. Everybody gets their rings. It's going to be a great opportunity to see kind of what we get to look out for Hamilton. They played really bad one half, and they played much better in the second half. Part of that, again, probably due to the Blue Bombers changing how they played, but still we get to see. As for Toronto, they get to, have an extra week to prepare for Hamilton, get to see how they kind of want to run things out there. And for the Ticats offense, they kind of look clumsy. James Butler Jr. is going to have to hold on to the ball a little bit better. Turnovers can't happen, and just some things in general are going to have to change. As for the Argos, we get to see Jordan Williams and Falarin Ormalade go out there and be able to play for the Argos defense and Corey Mace. I'm excited to see that, excited to see how Chad Kelly does, excited to see how the run game works, especially for the Argos, as Harris is hopefully in a better spot to really go out there and attack downfield running wise this year. This one is absolutely brutal. Jamal Peters is back, but I don't think he'll play in this game. I will have to see there, but I am going to be picking Hamilton. I know, shocking. A lot of people say that I just don't respect Toronto. I really just don't exactly know what to expect with Chad Kelly, and if Bo is able to bounce back in a better game, we could very well see Hamilton win this one, but at the same time, very well could see the Argos defense put on a show, and I do think that the Argos offense is plenty capable of winning this one. But we, of course, like always, will see. What are your picks for this week? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe and have a great night.